Thank you. We have been building this cathedral since 1914, when the diocese was formed and the parish church started more and more to become a cathedral. The work of the great architect Sir Stephen Dykes-Bauer started to make the chancel and the side aisles happen, and every successive cathedral community in each generation has the task of adding a bit more so that we can become truly the place that serves Suffolk properly, our diocese, county and town. This project is the latest stage in becoming a cathedral, and it meets both imperative and opportunity. The imperative, thank you, is based around 5 words beginning with R, helping them to be even more easy to remember. I would love there to be a time when I can ask any incumbent, any licensed lay minister, what are the 5 R imperatives of this project, and for them to be able to tell me just like that. So I'm reintroducing it to you today. Firstly, to rescue, which is the imperative of this current generation. To rescue heritage at risk. Thank you. The Abbey ruins, which many of you know and love, are in dire danger of terminal collapse. Flintwork and rubble, because of climate change, because of the depredations of the centuries, need absolute urgent work, with us working in partnership with English Heritage to rescue them for a future generation. Secondly, reconnecting. Many people who experience this site, cathedral, great churchyard, Abbey Gardens, St Mary's, experience a fragmented site, which was never a fragmented site, was only ever a unified site, the ancient site of the Abbey of St Edmund. So to reconnect with a new series of pathways, a network of pathways and signage with key stopping points to unite the site and help existing friends and new visitors to recognise that what they're experiencing is one unified site with a variety of signs that explain what that abbey once looked like as well as its land. So reconnect is the second R. The third R is to repurpose listed buildings, the frontage you recognise there, currently the cathedral shop, the tourist information point and the Hunter Gallery, to make a new generation visitor centre using the latest technology, the latest virtual reality and IT technology, to help a new generation of visitors using their smartphones and devices to experience the site by being able to harness that technology to help people know what those, this is going to be rather rude, forgive me, rather porridgey lumps of stone once looked like. The size of that abbey, one of the largest churches in Christendom until the Reformation. And people don't know what they're looking at, and therefore the new technology will help us in the way we offer it at our new Heritage Welcome Centre. And the next R, to recreate the vision for a West Cloister. I talked about how each generation has to do a bit more. You'll be aware if you look at the old yard there and a rather tumble down Georgian coach house there, it's not the prettiest part of the cathedral site, let's be honest. So to recreate the West Cloister as a community exhibition space, as a place where people can dwell and enjoy their time, and to rescue that rather tumble-down Georgian coach house and to create a one-storey extension that recreates Stephen Dykes-Bauer's vision for the completion of the West Cloister range. And the next R, to restore parts of the natural environment. We have 2 incredibly rare chalk streams running through the Abbey site. There aren't that many chalk streams in this country, and work is needed urgently to bring them back into good health. There's too much growth over them, there needs to be a better water flow, there needs to be a better condition for those 2 vital chalk streams, but also other methods of biodiversity that will help us to nurture quite amazing amounts of diversity in this particular area. Who knew we had otters? But we didn't know. On this particular site, you knew already. Did you know we had otters on this particular site? In the heart of our town. Because we found otter spraints. Ask Edward afterwards what an otter spraint is. But we have a huge amount of diversity which we've got to take care of. And the final R, which is the bit that really, I think we might have gone one too far, sorry. Go again. Nope. Okay? The final R is actually about reaching out to, it's hard to find the right word, it's about hard to reach groups, people who don't necessarily access this site because they don't recognise its relevance to them, but the way in which this site can also provide lots of opportunities around well-being, social prescribing, for people who are needing to get back into life from a time of alienation and isolation, whether it's bereavement, illness, loneliness, retirement, to be able to volunteer, to experience all that this site can offer, and through volunteering and getting involved in whatever way they want to, it can become a place of real well-being for volunteers. I've experienced it in previous jobs I've worked in, but also for those communities with whom we are already working. People on the edge of homelessness, younger people who are suffering for a variety of reasons as a result of the long tail of the pandemic, as young carers, as young neurodivergent, as young refugees. We want them to be able to work with this site, so it's not just a place for people who are already well-versed in heritage to experience. It can be a place which will be loved and which will be used by people who wouldn't normally access the site. So we're going to be able to retell the story of Edmund, England's first proper martyr saint, England's once upon a time patron, to retell the story of Edmund again, using some really modern techniques that ask the question about what do we value nowadays, where once they came to the site to experience holy bones. People came to be as close to the shrine as they could because they believed the body in the shrine could bring them healing. What do we believe nowadays about bodies and healing? What do we believe about physical imagery? Or Edmund as a cult hero? Edmund as a cult hero, and who do we put on pedestals as our cult heroes nowadays and then knock off? So not just retell a historic story, but ask the kind of questions of contemporary visitors, which will do the crucial thing of transforming a heritage experience into an experience of pilgrimage. So retelling, reimagining pathway, thank you so much, I'm dotting around, aren't I? So retelling the 1,000 years of stories about Edmund, but also reimagining pilgrim routes. We want to restore a lot of our pilgrim routes, the Botolph Way, the Edmund Way, all of those pilgrim routes, so that people do the thing that ancient pilgrims did, of walking and journeying towards this site, and also networking throughout Suffolk. And then, thank you, helping. This is important. If we want a new generation of visitors into Bury St Edmunds, and we're hoping for another 10 to 20,000 visitors a year, or even 30,000 visitors a year to the site, we hope that our beloved new visitors will come and they will spend. And it will help the cathedral. Because you might ask, what's in it for us? It will help the cathedral as well, having a whole new generation of visitors through here. And this is my bit about, so this is part of our, we're starting to experiment with Forest School. You've all heard of Forest School. We have wooded areas of our site, but we're also working through our wonderful Yard project, which was founded by Reverend Sarah with a group of young people from the cathedral, working with young neurodivergent carers, refugees. We're going to keep that project going and keep working with those communities and using the site to work with those communities, to provide that. It's quite small scale work, but it's really necessary work to help young people experience nature, to experience the environment as a place of healing and renewal. I think I'm nearly there. Am I nearly there? I'm done. So that's what we're aiming to do. That's what we're aiming to do. We are thrilled to have received a round one pass from the National Lottery Heritage Fund of 730,000. That's enabled us to do a year and a half of consultancy. Consultancy isn't necessarily a popular word, but it helps to build the activity planning, to build the interpretation design, to make sure that this is a sustainable model business-wise going forward. And so all these consultants are coming together now for the final stage when we put in for the final chunk of money from the National Lottery Heritage Fund. We have to put in our final bid by the end of February next year. If successful, we will learn by June, and that will release a further £7.5 million, which will make that project possible. But they're not paying for the lot. I'm not asking you for money, I'm just telling you what I'm doing, which is doing a lot of fundraising. because we have to raise £2.5 million of that 10 million. They'll give us 7.5, we have to raise 2.5. We are well over half the way there. So we've had some astonishing generosity from people around the county, from ecclesiastical, and we're into some large grant-making trusts and Suffolk trusts. But that's what's keeping me awake at night until February, by which time we have to have the match funding in place. We put in our final bid, we hear in June. If we're successful, spades in the ground, September or October. It's a 2-year delivery phase. So 2027-8 would see it finalised. And that next stage of the cathedral building as a place and a community to serve its county, to serve its diocese, to serve its town, a place for you to bring parishes and friends, we will have done that. So please pray for us. Please tell us if you've got ideas. Please come back to us. Stay with us on the journey. And I'll say it again. Pray for us for the next few months. Thank you.